The steps used in problem solving are: first, understand the problem. Start by reading the problem thoroughly to understand what is being asked. Sometimes it can be helpful to read 2 or 3 times if necessary. Next, translate the problem. Write the problem in short form using words and then assign a variable. Next, solve the problem. Perform the indicated operation. Estimation can be used to get an idea of what the actual solution might be. And finally, interpret the results. Check the solution to the problem and then state your conclusions. Write your results with the correct units. In these examples, we'll translate each sentence to an equation and then solve. Let x represent the unknown. 5 times a number decreased by 3 is equivalent to the difference of twice a number and 18. Here we'll let x represent the unknown. 5 times a number is 5x. That's decreased by 3. So subtract 3 means equals is equivalent to the difference of twice a number and 18. Difference means subtraction. And the difference is between twice a number, 2x, and 18. Once we have the setup, we can start solving. Notice that we have terms that contain an x on both sides of the equal sign. We need to put them all on one side. It doesn't matter which side we put the x on, but I like it on the left. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. We now have 3x minus 3 equals negative 18. Since we moved the x terms to the left side, we need to move the constants to the right side. To do that, we'll add 3 to both sides. (3x) equals negative 15. Finally, we can divide both sides by 3, and we'll get x equals negative 5. In part B, 3 times the difference of a number and 1 equals 12. 3 times the difference. This time we're tripling the difference, so we need to put 3 on the outside of a set of parentheses. We're multiplying 3 times the difference of a number and 1. Difference means subtract a number and 1, and that's equal to 12. To simplify, we need to distribute that 3 within the parentheses. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, and that equals 12. Notice the variable term is on the left. We need to move the negative 3 by adding it to both sides. (3x) equals 15. Now we'll divide. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 5. In these examples, we have a little more than just directly translating into math. We have applications. Sometimes setting these up a little bit can help us. Jim and Pam saved $56. Jim saved $8 more than Pam saved. How much did each person save? Notice there's 2 things we don't know. We don't know how much Jim saved, and we don't know how much Pam saved. But think about, which one do we know absolutely nothing about? Jim we know a tiny bit about. Jim saved 8 more than Pam. But Pam we know absolutely nothing about. So we're going to let Pam be the variable x. We don't know how much Pam saved. Jim we know a tiny bit about. He saved 8 more than Pam. So we can think of Jim as Pam's plus 8. And we know that their total is $56. So we can use this to help us set up the equation. Pam plus Jim equals $56. Pam we said is X. Jim we said is X plus 8. So this quantity here is Jim's for a total of $56. Now we can solve the equation. We have like terms. X and X will give us 2X. 2X plus 8 equals 56. Next, we'll subtract 8 on both sides. Two X is equal to 48. And then divide by 2. We'll get X is equal to 24. Keep in mind what X is. We said X represents Pam. So Pam saved $24. Jim saved $8 more than Pam. 24 plus 8 is 32. So he saved $32. To check this, we can see if those truly add to 56, the total. And they do. If we add these two amounts, they add to a total of 56. In part B, a 12-foot board is cut into two pieces. The longer piece is 3.5 feet longer than the shorter piece. What is the length of each piece? Similar to the previous example, we have two unknowns here. We have a long piece and a short piece. But one of those we know something about. We know that the longer is 3.5 feet longer than the short piece. The short piece we know absolutely nothing about. So the part that you know nothing about becomes your variable, X. X, the short piece, we know nothing about. The longer piece we can write in terms of the short piece. The longer piece is 3.5 feet longer than the shorter piece. So it is the short piece plus 3.5. And we know that their total is 12 feet long. So we can set this up similar to how we did the previous one. We have the long piece plus the short piece has a total of 12. The long piece is X plus 3.5. The short piece we said is X, and we know the total is 12 feet long. Let's combine like terms. X plus X is 2X. We'll bring down the 3.5, and that equals 12. We need to subtract the constant. So we'll subtract 3.5 on both sides. 2x is equal to 8.5. Now divide by 2. X is equal to 4.25. Now recall what we said X is. We said X represents the short piece. So the short piece is 4.25. And the units in this case are feet. The long piece is the short 4.25 plus 3.5. So the long piece will be 7.75 feet. Again, that is X 4.25 plus 3.5. And notice if we add those two together, we get a total of 12 feet. So we can check our answer. In part C, the sum of 3 consecutive whole numbers is 18. Find the numbers. Here we have 3 unknowns, the 3 consecutive numbers. First of all, consecutive just means in order, like 1, 2, 3. They are in order, they are consecutive. So let's think about that. We have the first number, the second number, and the third number. We don't know any of them, but think about which one you know nothing about. The one that you know absolutely nothing about is your variable. And that is the first number. We know absolutely nothing about the first number. But we know a tiny bit about the second number. We know that it's consecutive. So to get the second number, we have to add 1 to whatever we start with. That means the second number is x plus 1. And then if the next one is consecutive, that will be x plus 2. And we know that they have a total of 18. So their sum is 18. So we have the first number plus the second number plus the third number for a total of 18. The first number we labeled as x. The second number we called x plus 1. The third number we called x plus 2. And again, their total is 18. Now that we have an equation, we can combine like terms. X plus x is 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. That equals 18. Next, we'll subtract 3 on both sides. 3x equals 15. Now divide by 3. And we get that x is equal to 5. Recall what we said x is. We labeled x as our first number, 5. The second number is x, or 5 plus 1. That is 6. The third number is x, which we said is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So the three consecutive numbers are 5, 6, and 7. Notice if we add those up, we get 18. So we can check our work. And in part D, a high school graduating class is made up of 542 students. If there are 56 more girls than boys, how many boys are there in the class? So we have boys and girls. 2 unknowns, but one of them we know a tiny bit about, one of them we know nothing about. Notice it says there are 56 more girls than boys. So we know a tiny bit of information about the girls. The boys we know absolutely nothing about. So the thing we know nothing about is your variable, x. Girls we can then label as 56 plus x, or x plus 56. It doesn't matter, the order, because there's 56 more girls than boys. We know that there is a total of 542 students. Now setting up the equation, we have boys plus girls equals the total 542. The boys we are labeling as x. The girls we are labeling as x plus 56. Now that we've done the hard part, we can solve. Combine like terms, x plus x is 2x. Next we'll subtract 56 on both sides. 2x equals 542 minus 56 is 486. Then we'll divide both sides by 2. X is 243. And now just remember what we labeled x as. X we said is the number of boys. Boys is 243. Girls is 243x plus 56. That would be 299. and we can double check that. If we add these two numbers together, we should get 542.